Welcome to my channel, my friend. Let me ask you something strange. Have you ever talked to your phone, your mirror, or even your cup in English? Sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what changed everything for me. I couldn't speak English. I was afraid. I had no one to practice with. But I found one secret trick. I talked to objects. Yes, objects. And suddenly, my English started to grow fast. Do you ever feel shy or alone in your English journey? Comment below. Have you ever tried talking to objects in English? Or do you want to try now? Chapter 1. I was alone with my English. I remember the days when I sat in my room with a book in my hand, trying to learn English. I read the words, but I could not speak. I watched videos, but I could not reply. I listened to podcasts, but my mouth was silent. I felt stuck. I knew many English words in my head, but they never came out of my mouth. I was like a bottle full of water, but the lid was tightly closed. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't open it. I had no English-speaking friend, no teacher to guide me, no partner to practice with. I was completely alone with my English. I started to ask myself, how will I ever speak if I have no one to talk to? I felt like giving up. I remember one evening, I looked around my room. My phone was on the table. My lamp was shining softly. My books were sitting quietly on the shelf. I looked at my lamp and suddenly said, "You're bright today." It was a joke. Just a small sentence. Just a small smile. But something happened inside me. I felt warm. I felt free. I didn't care if my grammar was perfect. I didn't care if the sentence was simple. I had spoken in English. I had broken the silence. That lamp became my first listener. It didn't laugh at me. It didn't tell me I was wrong. It just stood there, shining. And I felt safe. The next morning, I tried again. I looked at the mirror and said, "Good morning. You look tired." I smiled at myself. I didn't plan anything big. I just said what I felt. It was not from a textbook. It was not memorized. It was me. Real me. Speaking real English. For the first time, I felt like I could do this. I didn't need a classroom. I didn't need a teacher every day. I just needed my voice, my mouth, my courage, my little objects around me. They were always there, and they never judged me. I realized something that day. I had everything I needed to start speaking English right now. I just didn't know it. But of course, it was not easy in the beginning. I still felt strange. I was shy. I thought, what if someone hears me? They'll think I'm crazy. But my dream was bigger than my fear. I wanted to speak English. I wanted to feel fluent. I wanted to express my thoughts. And if talking to a lamp or a cup or a mirror could help me, then I would do it. I told myself, this is your journey. No one needs to understand it. They will see the results later. And I was right. At first, people laughed. They didn't understand why I spoke to my bag or my notebook. But when my English became better, they stopped laughing. They started asking, "How did you improve so fast?" And I told them, I spoke when no one was listening. Every day after that, I spoke more. I spoke to my shoes, my pillow, my toothbrush. It became normal. It became fun. I gave names to my objects. I told them how I felt. I asked them questions. I answered them too. I turned my room into a classroom and my things into students. But the truth is, I was the student. And I was also the teacher. My voice became stronger. My mouth felt comfortable. My words didn't hide anymore. They flowed. Slowly, gently, but surely. You see, my friend, sometimes we wait for the perfect situation to speak. We wait for the right teacher, the right friend, the right class. But English doesn't wait. It grows when we use it, even if you're alone. even if it's just a whisper to your bottle of water. That whisper is a beginning. That small sentence is a seed. And seeds grow when you speak them into the world. I was completely alone with my English. But that's where my journey truly began. And maybe, just maybe, it's where yours can begin too. Chapter 2. My first sentence to a lamp. It was a quiet night. The room was dark, but one little lamp was glowing on my desk. I was sitting there, feeling tired and lost. I had studied English for years. I knew many words. I had books, apps, grammar rules, but I still could not speak. Every time I tried to say something, my tongue stopped moving. My mind was full, but my mouth was empty. I felt like I was locked inside myself. I looked around. No one was there. Just silence. Just me and that little lamp. I stared at it for a moment. And then, without thinking, I said, "You're bright today." That was it. Just 3 words. Just a simple sentence. But something powerful happened. My heart beat faster. My lips moved. My voice came out. I spoke in English. And no one judged me. No one laughed. That lamp just stood there, shining softly. And for the first time, I felt brave. I smiled. It felt like the beginning of something new. I looked at the lamp again and said, "Do you like this room?" I laughed. It was funny, but it was real. I was talking. I was not thinking too much. I was not translating from my language. I was not worried about grammar. I was just speaking. I looked around the room, and suddenly, everything looked different. My notebook, my chair, my water bottle. They all became part of my English world. That one sentence to a lamp changed my life. Before that moment, I thought speaking English needed a perfect situation. I thought I needed a partner, a classroom, or a native speaker. But now, I knew the truth. I could create my own English world, right here, right now. That lamp was not just a lamp. It was a listener, a friend, a mirror for my English voice. It helped me start. And that was the most difficult step, starting. After that night, I began to talk more. Every morning, I looked at the lamp and said, "Good morning, bright friend." Every evening, I said, "Thank you for your light." These were not big sentences, but they were full of emotion. They were real. They were mine. Speaking to a lamp may sound silly to others, but for me, it was smart. It was brave. It was freedom. It gave me the confidence to try more. I started to speak to my mirror, my phone, my pen. Everything around me became a chance to practice. I didn't wait for perfect English. I just used the words I had. And each day, my English grew stronger. I became less afraid of mistakes. I didn't feel alone anymore. I had my own speaking partners, the objects around me. And the best part? They always listened. They never laughed. They never stopped me. They were always there. Just like English. Always around us, waiting to be spoken. If you're watching this and thinking, "I can't speak," I want you to try what I did. Pick one object. It can be anything. A cup, a lamp, a shoe, a book. Look at it. Think about it. Say one sentence to it. "You are strong. You look tired. I like your color." That's all. Just one sentence. Don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about being perfect. Just speak. Feel the sentence. Feel your voice. That is where fluency starts, with feeling, not fear. With practice, not perfection. That lamp is still on my desk. Every time I see it, I smile. It reminds me of the night I stopped being silent. The night I took control of my English journey. You can do the same. Maybe tonight, your first sentence will also go to a lamp. And maybe, just maybe, That will be the start of something beautiful. Your voice matters. Your words have power, even if they begin with a lamp. Chapter 3. Why Objects Are the Best Listeners. After that first sentence to my lamp, something inside me changed. I had always been afraid to speak. I thought people would laugh at me. I thought they would correct my grammar or say I was wrong. That fear stopped me from using my voice. But when I talked to the lamp, there was no fear. No one judged me. No one told me, "That's not correct." I was free. Free to speak. Free to make mistakes. Free to just enjoy the sound of my own voice in English. That's when I realized something powerful. Objects are the best listeners in the world. They don't interrupt you. They don't say, "Speak louder," or "That's not how you say it." They simply let you talk. That's all we need when we are learning. A space to speak. A safe space. A kind space. A quiet space. That's what objects give us. Your mirror, your chair, your pillow, they are your audience. They listen with full attention. They never roll their eyes. They never rush you. They never make you feel small. They just listen. And when you feel listened to, something magical happens. You begin to speak more. You begin to trust your voice. I remember walking into the kitchen one morning and looking at the kettle. I said, "Good morning. You must be tired from boiling water all day." It sounds funny, right? But that sentence made me feel alive. It was creative. It was mine. And most importantly, it was English. Every object became a chance to express myself. I didn't care if the sentence was simple. I didn't care if my accent was strong. I was finally using the English inside me. That's what I had been missing all those years. A listener who didn't make me feel small. You see, many English learners have this deep fear inside. The fear of being wrong. The fear of being judged. That fear stops learning. But when you speak to an object, that fear disappears. There is no pressure, no grammar test, no teacher with a red pen, just you and the object. And slowly, your brain begins to connect your thoughts to your mouth. That's fluency, thinking and speaking without fear. Speaking to objects builds this connection. It trains your brain in the safest way possible. One of my favorite objects to talk to was my notebook. I didn't write in it. I talked to it. I would say, "Hello, notebook. Are you ready to help me today?" Or, "You hold my dreams, don't you?" These sentences made me smile. And they made me speak. Speaking builds confidence. Confidence builds more speaking. And that cycle grows your fluency. Every sentence is like a brick. And the more you speak, the stronger your English house becomes. I also noticed something else. The more I talked to objects, the more I started thinking in English. I stopped translating in my head. I stopped asking, "Is this right?" I just spoke. Naturally. Softly. Like I do in my own language. That is a big step for every learner, thinking in English. And it starts with simple, daily practice. Not in books. Not in big classrooms. But in small, quiet moments with a spoon, a cup, a fan, a table. So my friend, if you feel alone on your English journey, you are not. Your home is full of friends. The chair you sit on, the clock on your wall, the bag near your bed. They are all waiting for you to speak. And they will listen. Every time. No matter how many times you repeat. No matter how slow you speak. No matter how simple your words are, they will listen with love and silence. And that is exactly what you need to grow. Now it's your turn. Look around you. Find one object. Look at it with kindness. And say one sentence. Just one. Make it yours. Feel it. Speak it. This is not silly. This is smart. This is brave. This is how you begin. Speak to the world around you, and the world will slowly start speaking back. Chapter 4. My mirror was my first teacher. There was a day I will never forget. A quiet morning. I stood in front of the mirror and looked at myself. My eyes were tired. My face looked unsure. I was holding my toothbrush, thinking about my day. I had a strong desire to speak English, but still, my mouth was silent. Then, something pushed me inside. A small voice said, "Say something. Just try." So I looked into my own eyes and said in English, "Good morning. You look sleepy." It was soft. It was a little strange. But it was real. That moment changed everything. That mirror became my first teacher. When I spoke to the mirror, I saw my own mouth move. I watched how my lips shaped the words. I saw my eyes grow more confident. And I realized something very deep. I wasn't just learning English. I was learning courage. I was learning to face myself, to face my fear. The mirror showed me my expression, my body language, my feelings. It was like watching another person, but that person was me. And every time I spoke a sentence to the mirror, that person became stronger. I didn't need grammar books in that moment. I didn't need long vocabulary lists. I just needed my voice and my reflection. That reflection helped me fix my pronunciation. I could see where I was going wrong. I could copy the way my lips should move. I could hear the music of my own words. When I said, "How are you today?" I smiled at myself. When I said, "I am feeling happy," I felt it. The mirror gave me feedback. Not in words, but in feelings. And that was more powerful than any textbook. Some days, I looked in the mirror and said, "You can do this." On other days, I said, "It's okay to be slow. You're still learning." These sentences were small, but they were full of emotion. They were real. I was not practicing English just to pass an exam. I was practicing English to become free. Free to express myself. Free to say what I feel. The mirror didn't ask for perfect grammar. It didn't laugh when I said the wrong word. It didn't tell me, "You are too slow." It just looked back with silence and understanding. That silence helped me grow. In the beginning, I only spoke 1 or 2 sentences a day. But over time, it became more. I started asking myself questions in the mirror. What are you doing today? Did you sleep well? I answer my own questions. I will go to the market. No, I didn't sleep much. These conversations were simple, but they gave me practice. Real practice. Daily practice. With the most honest listener, myself. Sometimes I cried. Sometimes I laughed. Sometimes I just stood there, breathing deeply, saying, "Keep going. Don't stop." And every day, I got a little better, a little stronger, a little more fluent. My mirror became more than glass. It became my first classroom, my best teacher, my daily speaking partner. It showed me the face of someone who didn't give up, the face of someone who kept trying, even when no one else believed in them. If you are watching this video and you feel like you have no one to practice with, I want you to try this. Go to your mirror. Look at yourself. Don't be afraid. This is not silly. This is smart. Say one sentence. "I want to learn English." Or, "I believe in myself." And then say another. And another. Watch yourself. Feel your words. Repeat them. Smile. Laugh. Cry. Whatever comes, let it come. Because that mirror is your truth. And when you speak English with your truth, you will never be weak. Your mirror is waiting for you. It's not just for brushing your hair or fixing your clothes. It's for building your confidence, for growing your voice, for turning silence into speech. So speak to your mirror. Every day, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. And you'll see, your mirror will teach you more than any classroom ever could. Chapter 5. Talking to my phone. Not with apps, but words. I used to look at my phone as just a device. A tool to scroll, to click, to watch videos. I had many English apps on it, grammar games, vocabulary flashcards, even dictionary tools. I spent hours tapping, reading, listening. But still, I couldn't speak. I knew the meaning of many English words, but my tongue stayed quiet. My brain was busy, but my mouth was frozen. One day, while sitting alone, I held my phone and said out loud, "Hey phone, I don't want to just study you. I want to talk to you." And just like that, I turned my phone into a person, a friend, a listener, and it became one of my best tools to speak English. Not by using an app, but by using my own voice. I started speaking to my phone every day. It felt strange at first, but not scary. The phone didn't judge. It didn't reply. It just listened. I said simple things. "Good morning, phone. You look tired today. What do you want to do?" I gave it a name. I called it Charlie. Now Charlie and I had conversations. I would ask, "Charlie, should I go for a walk today?" Then I would answer, "Yes, walking is good for your health." These were not real answers, but they were real sentences. And that's what helped me. I was finally using English in my real life, in my voice, not just in my head. Every time I picked up my phone, it became a moment to practice. While waiting for a video to load, I would say, "Charlie, why are you so slow today?" Or, "Don't be lazy, Charlie. Let's learn something." These little sentences added up. Day by day, I was creating a habit, a speaking habit. My phone was always with me, so now, English was always with me too. I didn't need a partner. I didn't need to schedule a class. I just needed to open my mouth and talk to the thing that was already in my hand. I also started using my phone's camera like a mirror. I would turn it on, look into it, and speak to my reflection. It was like combining two practices, the mirror and the phone. I would say things like, "Today is a good day. I am ready to learn." Then I would repeat it slowly, with more feeling. "Today is a good day. I am ready to learn." My face became more expressive. My voice became clearer. And something amazing started to happen. My confidence started growing fast. Sometimes I recorded my voice using my phone. I would say short sentences and then play them back. At first, I didn't like how I sounded. My accent was strong. My voice felt strange. But the more I listened, the more I accepted it. I wasn't trying to sound like someone else. I was trying to sound like me, in English. That became my goal, to be myself in another language. And my phone helped me do that. It became more than a tool. It became a space where I could be brave. Many learners feel they need expensive classes or special speaking partners. But I want to tell you something important. Your phone is your best friend if you use it the right way. Don't just scroll videos all day. Don't just type in silence. Talk to it. Really talk. Say what you feel. Describe your day. Ask questions. Give answers. Use your voice. Because when you use your voice, you build fluency. And when you build fluency, you build power. My phone is still with me every day. But now, it's not just a screen. It's my English friend. When I feel nervous, I speak to it. When I'm happy, I celebrate with it. When I learn a new word, I say it aloud to my phone, like sharing a secret. This habit has changed my fluency. I don't just study English now. I live it. I speak it. I feel it. And it all started with one simple sentence. "Hey phone, let's talk." So today, I want you to try something. Pick up your phone. Look at it, smile at it, and say one sentence in English. Any sentence. Don't think too much. Don't wait to feel ready. Just speak. Because that's where your fluency begins. Not in the app, but in you. Chapter 6. Giving objects a name and a personality. One day, I looked at my cup of tea and said, "You look warm and sleepy today, Mr. Brown." And I laughed. Not because it was silly, but because it felt fun. That cup became Mr. Brown from that day. I gave it a name, a personality, even a mood. And something beautiful happened. English became more than a language. It became play. It became real. Speaking English didn't feel like homework anymore. It felt like talking to friends. Slowly, I started giving names to all the objects around me. My notebook was Emma. My chair was Mr. Lazy. My lamp was Lucy. And just like that, my silent room became full of characters, full of voices, full of life, and full of English. When we are children, we talk to our toys. We imagine stories. We give them names. We laugh with them. We cry with them. And through that, we learn our language. Fast, naturally, happily. Why do we stop doing that when we grow up? Why do we make learning so serious, so heavy, so boring? I decided not to do that anymore. I wanted to speak like a child again, free, fearless, curious. So I made my own English world with objects that had names and stories. I spoke to them like friends. Emma, are you ready to help me write today? Mr. Lazy, stop making me so comfortable. I need to study. Lucy, thank you for your light. You're always here for me. These were not just jokes. They were real sentences, real conversations. And I was building real fluency. Without pressure, without rules, just emotion and expression. My vocabulary grew, my sentences got longer, my speaking became faster, all because I was enjoying the process. When you give something a name, you give it life. And when you speak to it, you give your English purpose. That's the secret. We don't learn well when we're bored. We learn well when we care. When we smile, when we feel. I remember one rainy evening, I sat by the window and looked at my plant. I called it Greenie. I said, "Hey Greenie, do you like the rain?" And then I answered for it. "Yes, it makes me feel fresh." I laughed. I repeated the sentence again, with more feeling. "Yes, it makes me feel fresh." I felt like I was acting, playing a role. But I was doing something powerful. I was training my brain to think and speak in English. I was creating natural conversations. And all this was happening in a room with no people. Just me, my imagination, and my new English friends. Some days, I made up stories. I said, "Lucy the lamp is sad today. She wants to go outside." I acted like I was her. "But I'm stuck on this table." I would laugh and reply, "Don't worry, Lucy. I'll tell you what's happening outside." And I described the weather, the street, the trees. This helped me describe real things around me in English. The color of the sky, the sound of the rain, the feeling of the air. My speaking became richer, more emotional, more real. And I didn't even feel like I was studying. I was just living in English. If you've never tried this, I understand. It may feel strange at first, but let me tell you, it works. It opens your mind. It removes fear. It makes English your friend, not your enemy. It makes your world bigger. So today, I want you to look around your room. Choose one object. Give it a name. Think about its personality. Is it quiet or noisy? Is it serious or funny? Then speak to it. Ask it a question. Say good morning. Tell it about your day. Feel the words. Feel the fun. That's when English starts to live in your heart. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need long lists of rules. You need joy. You need courage. You need a voice. And when that voice speaks to Emma the notebook or Mr. Lazy the chair, you are not being silly. You are being brilliant. You are building fluency with love. And that's the kind of fluency that stays forever. Chapter 7. How I Learned 100 Sentences Without Studying. I never planned to learn 100 English sentences. I didn't write a list. I didn't sit down with a book. I didn't even know it was happening. But one day, I looked back at my small daily habits, talking to my lamp, my notebook, my phone, my cup, and I realized something surprising. I had said more than 100 real English sentences. Not because I was studying, not because I was trying hard, but because I was living with English every single day. That changed the way I saw fluency. It doesn't come from memorizing lists. It comes from speaking real, emotional sentences again and again. Every day, I chose one object to talk to. Just one. Some days, it was Lucy the lamp. Other days, it was Charlie the phone. I would say 5 or 6 simple sentences to it. I didn't need to be creative. I just needed to be consistent. Good morning, Lucy. You look bright today. Thank you for the light. Did you sleep well? I'm feeling lazy today. These sentences were short, but they had emotion. And I repeated them often. I didn't care about using new words every time. I cared about using the words I already knew, with feeling, with voice, with rhythm. After 1 week, I had already spoken more than 35 different sentences. Some were repeated, some were new, but they all came from real life. I wasn't doing exercises. I was just being present with my words. After 1 month, I counted. Over 100 sentences had come out of my mouth. And these were not sentences I copied from a textbook. They were my own. I created them. I felt them. That gave me confidence. That made me believe, yes, I can speak English. It's inside me. Repetition was the key. Many people think repeating is boring. But for me, repeating was beautiful. It made the sentences strong in my memory, strong in my mouth, strong in my heart. When I said, "Good morning, Emma," every day, it became automatic. When I said, "You're looking beautiful today, Mr. Cup," it felt smooth. The words didn't get stuck anymore. They flowed. That is fluency, when words flow like water, not when they stay stuck in books. I also noticed that I was using more grammar without thinking. I started saying, "You were here yesterday." Then later, "You are here now." And then, "You will be here tomorrow." I didn't sit and study past, present, and future. I just used them in real life, with my objects. My brain learned the patterns naturally. Like a child. That's how children learn. Through daily sentences, not grammar charts. And now, I was doing the same. Sometimes, I wrote my sentences down. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to remember them. I had a small English diary. In it, I wrote the conversations I had with my objects. It made me smile. It made me feel proud. I was building my own English world, one sentence at a time. And when I read those sentences again, I could hear my voice. I could feel the emotion. I could see my growth. The best part? I didn't feel pressure. I didn't feel tired. I didn't say, "I have to learn English today." I just lived it. That's the secret. When learning becomes living, everything changes. You don't count sentences. You just speak them. You don't chase fluency. It comes to you. Because you are using the language in your real life, not just in your head. So if you want to learn 100 sentences, don't start with a list. Start with your room, your objects, your day. Choose one thing. Speak 5 sentences to it today. Tomorrow, speak 5 more. Repeat them. Love them. Laugh with them. Make mistakes. Feel the words. After 30 days, you will look back and smile, because you'll realize you've already spoken hundreds of real English sentences. And the best part? You didn't study them. You lived them. Chapter 8. My English Desk, My Speaking World. There was a small corner in my room that changed everything. It was not special, just a simple wooden desk, a chair, and a lamp. But one day, I decided to make it my English desk. Not a study desk, not a school desk, but a speaking desk. A place where English lives. A place where I could speak without fear. No one else knew about this place. It was just for me and my words. That desk became my world. A small, quiet world where I could talk, dream, practice, and grow in English. And it gave me something very powerful, a habit. Every morning, I sat at the desk for 5 minutes. Just 5. I didn't open a book. I didn't watch a video. I just looked around the desk and started speaking. Good morning, Lucy, I'd say to the lamp. How's the light today? Then I'd look at my notebook. Emma, are you ready to help me think? I looked at the pen. Don't run out of ink today, okay? It felt silly at first, but then it felt normal. Then it felt beautiful. These were not just objects anymore. They were my speaking partners. And they were always there, always ready to listen. My English desk became a space where English was natural. I didn't worry about making mistakes. I didn't care about grammar. I just let the words flow. I describe things around me. My pen is blue. My notebook is open. My chair feels soft. Then I added more. I like writing today. I don't want to stop. English is starting to feel easy. Every day, I said new things. And I repeated old ones. Some days, I made up small stories. Lucy the lamp had a bad dream last night. Other days, I talked about my real life. I'm feeling tired, but I want to learn. These sentences became my routine. Short, true, powerful. That little desk became my stage. My classroom. My English home. When I sat there, I knew it was time to speak. Even if I only had 3 minutes. Even if I only said 2 sentences. I showed up. And English showed up with me. That's how habits are made. You choose a place. You choose a time. You do it again and again. And then, one day, it becomes part of you. Speaking becomes easy, natural, automatic, because your brain starts to connect that space with your English voice. Sometimes I added a mirror to the desk. I looked at myself while I talked. Sometimes I recorded my voice on my phone. Sometimes I read a sentence from a book and repeated it to my lamp. I didn't follow a fixed rule. I just made sure I spoke. That was my only rule. Speak something. Feel something. Let the words move. I trusted that these small speaking moments would grow. And they did. I started to speak more fluently, even when I left the desk. Because the habit was inside me now. If you're learning English and you feel lost, I invite you to create your own English desk. It doesn't need to be big or perfect, just a small place where you feel calm and free. A corner of your room, a part of your table, a spot near your bed. Put a notebook there, a cup, a lamp. Give them names, give them voices, and then give them your words. 1 sentence a day, 2, 5. It doesn't matter how much. What matters is that you speak. The world is noisy. Life is busy. But your English desk will wait for you. It will always be quiet, always ready, always yours. And every time you sit there, you will remember who you are. A learner, a dreamer, a speaker. Not tomorrow. Not someday. But today, right now, Chapter 9, I made mistakes and spoke more because of them. I still remember the first time I said a wrong sentence to my lamp. I looked at Lucy, my little shining friend, and said, "You is bright today." Then I stopped. I felt strange. I knew it sounded wrong. My brain whispered, "It should be you are bright today." And for a second, I felt that old fear coming back, the fear of being wrong, the fear of making a mistake. But then I smiled. I looked at Lucy again and said, "You are bright today." And then again, "You are bright today." I repeated it until it felt right. That moment taught me something important. Mistakes are not the end. They are the beginning of fluency. I made many mistakes after that. I said, "He go to the market" instead of "he goes." I said, "I can cooking" instead of "I can cook." I forgot words. I said them in the wrong order. I used strange sounds. But you know what? Every mistake gave me a new chance to learn. Every mistake was a lesson in my voice. I didn't hide from them. I didn't run away. I used them. I spoke more because of them. I trusted my speaking would grow, not from being perfect, but from being real. When you talk to people, you may feel shy about mistakes. You may worry that they will laugh or correct you. But when you talk to objects, you are free. You can make 100 mistakes, and the cup will still listen. The mirror will still reflect your strength. The lamp will still shine. That is why this practice is so powerful. It gives you a safe place to be wrong and to grow strong from it. You're not being judged. You're being brave. Sometimes I even played a game with my mistakes. I would say the wrong sentence first, then fix it. Like this. She go to school. No. Wait, she goes to school. Or, I has a book. No, sorry, I have a book. I made it fun. I made it playful. Because when you laugh at your mistakes, you remove fear. You become powerful. You become free. I also started to keep a small notebook. Every time I made a mistake that I noticed, I wrote it down. And I wrote the correct sentence beside it. I didn't do this as punishment. I did it as celebration. Look, I told myself, you're learning something new today. My mistakes became little friends. They showed me where I needed more practice. They guided me. They helped me find my weak spots. And slowly, those weak spots became strong. Many learners stop speaking because they want to be perfect. But perfection is a trap. You wait and wait and wait, and you never speak. You hold your words inside, and your fluency never grows. But if you accept your mistakes and speak anyway, your English becomes alive. It becomes strong. It becomes part of you. Even now, I make mistakes. Sometimes small ones. Sometimes big ones. But I keep speaking. I don't stop. Because fluency is not about never being wrong. It's about never stopping. It's about building a relationship with the language. A kind, loving relationship where you forgive yourself, where you try again, where you speak with heart. So, if you're afraid of mistakes, I understand you. I was afraid too. But I want to tell you, speak anyway. Talk to your objects. Make mistakes. Then fix them. Laugh at them. Repeat your sentences. Don't hide from your errors. Welcome them. Every mistake is a teacher. Every correction is a gift. And every time you speak again, you are stronger than before. Today, I want you to do something brave. Pick one sentence. Say it wrong on purpose. Then correct it. Say it again. Feel the difference. Let your voice grow. Let your confidence rise. Because the secret is this: the more mistakes you make, the faster you learn. And the more you speak, the closer you are to fluency. Don't fear the fall. Speak, fall, rise, and speak again. Chapter 10. Talking to a chair taught me real conversations. It was a rainy afternoon. The sky was gray, and the air was quiet. I was sitting in my room, looking around, thinking about how to practice English that day. I had already spoken to my lamp, my mirror, and my phone. But then my eyes stopped at the chair near my desk. It was an old chair, a little broken, a little quiet. I looked at it and smiled. "You look tired today, Mr. Chair," I said softly. And just like that, I started my first real conversation in English, with a chair. I didn't stop with one sentence. I said more. "Are you okay? You've been carrying me all week." I laughed at myself. Then I answered like I was the chair. "I'm fine, but I need a break too." And suddenly, I was not just practicing English. I was creating a real back and forth. I was asking and answering. I was imagining, feeling, speaking. That old chair helped me learn how real conversations happen, not with long, difficult words, but with simple, kind sentences that come from the heart. The more I practiced with the chair, the more natural my speaking became. I used greetings. "Hello, how are you today?" I asked questions. "Do you like sitting near the window?" I gave answers. "Yes, I enjoy the sunshine." I even talked about feelings. "I feel lonely today. What about you?" Then I replied, "I'm always here, even when you're quiet." These small talks, these pretend moments, help me grow. I was practicing conversation structure. I was learning how to flow, how to pause, how to react, all by speaking to something that could not reply. Many people think practice only happens with real people. But I learned that conversations start in your mind. If your brain doesn't know how to form a sentence, how to answer a question, how to express a feeling, then it doesn't matter who you're talking to. You will stay silent. But when you talk to a chair, when you imagine the other voice, you start to build that ability inside. Your brain begins to expect answers, prepare responses, and create meaning. And that's the key. That's fluency. It doesn't start on the street. It starts inside you. Sometimes, I made the chair angry just to practice. I said, "Mr. Chair, I'm sorry I spilled tea on you yesterday." Then I replied in a deep voice, "You must clean me today." It was funny, but it taught me how to handle emotions in English. How to say sorry. How to reply politely. I said things like, "I promise to clean you today. Please forgive me. Thank you for being patient." These are real conversation skills. I didn't learn them from books. I learned them by playing, by speaking, by using my imagination, all while sitting in a quiet room with no one but a chair. The most surprising thing? These chair conversations helped me speak better with people later. When I finally talked to someone in English, I didn't freeze. My brain already knew how to respond. I had practiced hundreds of small sentences. I had already trained myself in the art of reply. So the real conversation felt familiar, easy, comfortable. And it all began with those quiet talks in my room. So today, I want you to try something new. Find a chair. Sit across from it. Pretend it's your friend, your teacher, your classmate. Ask it questions. Answer them too. Talk about your day. Talk about your dreams. Practice greetings, emotions, questions, replies. Don't worry about being silly. Be free. Be bold. Be playful. That chair can become your greatest teacher, if you let it. Fluency is not only about speaking English to people. It's about learning how to speak in your own world first. If you can have a conversation with a chair, you can have one with anyone. The chair will never correct you, never rush you, never stop you. It will wait patiently for your voice. and your voice will grow stronger every day. Chapter 11. Speaking when you're alone changes everything. There was a time when I thought speaking English only made sense if someone was there to listen. I believed I needed a teacher, a partner, a classroom. If no one was watching, if no one was replying, then what was the point of speaking? So I waited. I waited for the perfect time, the perfect person, the perfect situation. And during that wait, I stayed silent. My English words stayed in my head. My voice stayed quiet. But one day, everything changed. I started speaking when I was alone. Just me. No listeners. No teachers. No pressure. And that, my friend, changed everything. I began by speaking small sentences while doing simple things. Washing dishes? This plate is clean now. Making tea? The water is hot. Looking at the sky? The clouds are beautiful today. I didn't plan anything. I didn't prepare long scripts. I just spoke whatever I saw, whatever I felt. And in those small, quiet moments, I found something powerful: freedom. There was no fear of mistakes, no fear of judgment, no one to correct me. Just space, just peace, just me and my English voice finally coming alive. When you speak alone, your English becomes part of your life. It's not a subject anymore. It's not something you do for a test. It becomes your language, your friend, your expression. I remember walking to the market, talking softly to myself. I need tomatoes. Maybe I'll buy some apples too. I wasn't showing off. I wasn't practicing for anyone. I was simply living in English. And the more I did it, the more natural it felt. Speaking became as normal as breathing. Some days, I spoke to the mirror. Other days, I whispered while walking. Sometimes, I talked while cooking, folding clothes, or brushing my teeth. I described things. I asked questions. I told myself what I was doing. Now I will wash the pan. Be careful, it's hot. Let's finish this quickly. I'm hungry. These were not big, beautiful sentences. But they were real. They were mine. And every one of them helped me grow. You see, when you speak alone, you are not really alone. Your mind is listening. Your brain is working. Your mouth is moving. That is real practice. That is real learning. You don't need someone else to become fluent. You need yourself, your voice, your time, your courage to speak when no one is watching. That's the secret most learners miss. They wait for the world to give them a chance. But the truth is, you must give yourself the chance first. Sometimes I laughed at myself. Sometimes I made mistakes. Sometimes I forgot a word and said, "What's that called again?" But I kept going. I didn't stop. Because I knew the most important thing: consistency matters more than perfection. Speaking for 5 minutes every day, even when no one hears you, is better than waiting for one perfect conversation that never comes. I want you to try this today. Right now. Look around. Are you alone? Good. This is your moment. Say one sentence. Out loud. Nodding your head. Let your voice rise. I am learning English. Say it again. Louder. I am learning English. Walk around your room. Describe what you see. Talk about how you feel. You don't need anyone to listen. The walls will hear you. Your heart will hear you. And that is enough. Speaking alone is not a weakness. It's a strength. It means you're taking responsibility. You're not waiting anymore. You're acting. You're growing. You're becoming the speaker you always wanted to be. In silence, your voice becomes stronger. In private, your confidence begins. And soon, when the world is watching, you will be ready. Because you've already practiced in the quiet, when no one saw you, but you showed up anyway. Chapter 12. How to make English your roommate. One morning, I looked around my room and thought, what if English lived with me? What if it was not just a subject or a goal, but a person, a roommate, a part of my daily life? That simple idea changed everything. I stopped thinking of English as something far away, something I could only use with teachers or on test days. I started thinking of English as someone living right here with me. Someone who follows me to the kitchen, sits with me on the bed, walks with me in the street. That's how English became my roommate. Not just in my mind, but in my life. And the more I treated it like a real person, the more my fluency grew. I spoke to English like it was beside me. I said, "Good morning, English. Let's have a good day." While brushing my teeth, I'd say, "Are you ready, English? Let's talk." When I cooked, I'd smile and say, "Hey, English, I don't know this word. Help me." It may sound strange to some people, but to me, it was beautiful. I was no longer learning alone. I was living with English. Every sentence I spoke felt like a real conversation, not with a stranger, not with a teacher, but with a friend who was always there. I even gave English a voice. Sometimes it was quiet and calm. Other times, it was funny or serious. I used this voice to help me reply. If I asked, "What should I eat today?" I'd answer as English. "Eat something healthy, my friend." It became a game, but also a habit. It helped me practice both sides of a conversation, asking and answering. That made my fluency stronger. I didn't just practice speaking. I practiced thinking in English. And that is the biggest step toward real fluency. The amazing part? English became part of everything I did. When I opened the fridge, I spoke to the food in English. "Hello, milk. You're almost empty." When I walked outside, I described things. "The sky is blue. The road is wet. That dog looks happy." My world turned into a classroom. Not a boring one, but a real, living, breathing one. English followed me like a friend. And that friend helped me speak more and more each day. Soon, my room looked different too. I wrote short English phrases on sticky notes and put them on the wall, on my mirror, even on the door. Simple things like, "Keep going. Speak now. English is your friend." These little messages reminded me that English was close, that I didn't have to wait for someone else to start speaking. I just had to talk, to myself, to my cup, to my book, and to my new roommate, English. You don't need big tools to learn this way. You just need your voice, your room, and your imagination. If you live alone, great. You have freedom to speak anytime. If you live with others, you can still find quiet moments. Whisper to yourself. Speak softly. Think loudly in English. Feel the presence of your roommate. Make English part of your morning, your meals, your cleaning, your relaxing. Not as a task, not as pressure, but as a quiet, friendly partner in your life. Some people wait for the right moment to learn English. But when English becomes your roommate, every moment is the right moment. There is no waiting. You're already together. So speak. Smile. Make mistakes. Laugh. Try again. Just like you do with a real friend who lives in your home. If you make English your roommate, I promise, it will stay with you. It will grow with you. It will become a voice in your life that says, "You can do this. Keep speaking. I'm right here with you." And when you feel shy or tired or lost, you can still whisper to yourself, "I'm not alone. English is with me." Chapter 13. Why I never waited to feel ready. I used to wait. Wait for the perfect time. Wait to feel confident. Wait to feel ready before I opened my mouth and spoke English. I thought one day I would wake up and suddenly feel brave, suddenly feel fluent, suddenly feel like I was good enough. But that day never came. Days passed, weeks passed, even months, and I was still waiting, still silent, still afraid. One day, I looked at myself in the mirror and said, "You've been waiting too long." And I realized the truth. Fluency doesn't come when you feel ready. Fluency comes when you speak, even when you don't. From that day forward, I made a promise to myself. I would not wait anymore. Not for the perfect sentence. Not for the perfect accent. Not for someone to tell me, "Now you're ready." I would speak now. Even if I made mistakes. Even if I felt shy. Even if my heart beat fast and my hands shook. I would speak. I would talk to my lamp, my mirror, my phone. I would describe my day. I would ask questions. I would give answers. I would build fluency with my own two hands, with my own voice. At first, it was hard. I didn't feel ready. But I spoke anyway. My sentences were short. My grammar wasn't perfect. Sometimes I forgot words. Sometimes I repeated myself. But I kept going. Every sentence was like a brick. Every mistake was like glue. I was building a strong house, one word at a time. And the more I spoke, the stronger I became. Not perfect, not fast, but real, and honest, and brave. You see, waiting feels safe. But it's also a trap. When you wait, you lose time. You lose progress. You lose chances. But when you act, even with fear, even with doubt, you grow. You win. You become the speaker you've always wanted to be. I didn't wait to feel perfect. I practiced. I tried. I spoke. And one day I realized I wasn't afraid anymore. I didn't need to be ready. I was already enough. So many learners message me and say, "I want to speak English, but I'm not ready." And I always say, that's why you must start now. Speaking is the medicine for fear. Speaking is the solution. Not silence, not delay, not more thinking, but speaking, even small, even slow, even to a spoon on the kitchen table. That is how it begins. Some of my best English moments came when I felt the weakest. I remember feeling tired, confused, and frustrated. But I still whispered to my notebook, "I won't stop." I still said to my reflection, "Keep going." I still smiled and said, "One more sentence today." Those sentences weren't beautiful, but they were powerful, because they came from my heart. If you are waiting to feel ready, my friend, I understand you. I was you. But I want you to hear me now. You are ready. Right now. This moment. You don't need more words. You need to use the words you already have. You don't need to know everything. You need to say something. One small sentence. Then another. Then another. That's how I did it. That's how you can do it too. So today, don't wait. Speak. Even if it's just to your phone. Even if it's just to yourself. Say something real. Something true. I want to speak English. I'm learning. I'm trying. That's enough. That's more than enough. Because when you stop waiting, you start winning. You start speaking. You start becoming the version of you that you were always meant to be. Not perfect, but powerful. Chapter 14. How my speaking got faster with repetition. At the beginning of my English journey, my mouth was slow. My brain moved fast, but my tongue couldn't keep up. I knew what I wanted to say, but the words came out like broken pieces. Sometimes I stopped in the middle of a sentence. Sometimes I paused too long. Sometimes I forgot the word completely. It was frustrating. I wanted to speak fast. I wanted to sound natural. But every time I opened my mouth, it felt like walking through thick mud. That's when I discovered the secret. repetition. Simple, daily, emotional repetition. And it changed everything. One day, I picked one simple sentence. Today is a beautiful day. I said it out loud. Then I said it again. Slowly. With feeling. Today is a beautiful day. I smiled. I repeated it 5 times. 10 times. I changed my tone. I said it with a happy voice. Then with a tired voice. Then with a whisper. I repeated until my mouth felt comfortable. And something amazing happened. The sentence started to flow. It came out faster, smoother, clearer. I didn't need to think anymore. My brain and my mouth finally became friends. So I tried it again the next day with a new sentence. I am learning English every day. And again, I said it slowly. Then faster. Then with emotion. 10 times, 20 times. I was not bored. I was building something. A muscle. A memory. A rhythm. After a few days, I noticed something surprising. I could speak faster, not just those sentences, but other ones too. Because my mouth had learned the movement. My tongue knew what to do. I was training myself like a singer trains their voice, like a dancer trains their body. And the secret was always repetition. I created a small routine. Every morning, I chose 1 or 2 sentences. I spoke them again and again, while walking, while cooking, while brushing my teeth. I didn't care if I repeated them 50 times. In fact, I loved it, because I wasn't just learning English. I was living it. The sentences became part of me. I could say them with my eyes closed. I could say them even when I was tired. And that gave me power. That gave me speed. Many learners try to speak fast without practicing slowly first. But that's a mistake. Speed comes from comfort. Comfort comes from practice. Practice comes from repetition. When you repeat, you relax. When you relax, you flow. When you flow, you speak with ease. And when that happens, fluency doesn't feel far anymore. It feels close. Real. Possible. I also learned to love repeating mistakes. If I said something wrong, I didn't feel bad. I just repeated the correct version again and again. She go to school. No, she goes to school. She goes to school. She goes to school. Until my brain remembered. Until my mouth remembered. I didn't need to write it 10 times like in school. I just needed to speak it 10 times with feeling. That's the difference. Repetition is not about being perfect. It's about getting comfortable. And comfort creates confidence. Sometimes I used one sentence the whole day. Like, I can do this. I said it when I woke up. I said it while walking. I said it before sleeping. And each time, it felt stronger. Each time, it felt more true. That sentence became a part of me. Not just in English, but in my heart. So if you want to speak faster, don't rush. Repeat. Choose one sentence today. Say it slowly. Then faster. Then with a smile. Then with strength. Say it in front of your mirror. Say it to your cup. Say it while looking at the sky. Repeat until it becomes part of you. Until your tongue knows it like your name. You don't need to know 10,000 words to speak fast. You need to repeat 10 real sentences every day. That's how fluency grows. Not in big jumps, but in small steps repeated with love. So speak again, and again, and again, until your voice feels like music, until your sentences flow like water. That is your power, and it begins with one simple choice. Repeat with heart. Chapter 15. From Objects to Real People. There was a time when I could only speak English to objects, to my mirror, to my lamp, to my phone. I was too afraid to speak to real people. I thought, what if I say something wrong? What if they don't understand me? What if I freeze? So I kept practicing alone. Every day, I spoke to chairs, notebooks, spoons, and the walls of my room. I built my voice in silence. I built my courage in the quiet. I didn't know when I would speak to a real person, but I knew I was preparing. And one day, the moment came. A real conversation with a real person. And something amazing happened. I didn't freeze. I spoke. It wasn't perfect. My voice shook a little. I forgot a word. But I spoke. I smiled. I used simple sentences. I asked questions. I answered. I made eye contact. And in that moment, I realized that all my practice, all those silly talks with objects, had worked. My mouth knew how to move. My mind knew how to respond. My fear was still there, but it was smaller. My voice was louder. My practice had become power. I spoke slowly. I didn't rush. I used the sentences I had repeated many times alone. How are you? What do you like? I am learning English. These were not big sentences, but they were real, and they connected me to someone new. That person didn't laugh. They didn't correct every mistake. They listened. They smiled. They replied. And I felt something new. I felt proud. After that, I started looking for more chances to speak with people. Not long conversations, just small ones. At a shop, at the bus stop, online. I didn't wait for perfect English. I used the English I had. I didn't try to impress. I tried to connect. And every time I spoke, it became easier. Because I had built my English voice in the most honest way. Through real speaking, alone and with love. Talking to objects had given me a gift. It had trained my tongue. It had prepared my brain. It had built my confidence step by step. And when the time came to talk to a real person, I was ready. Not because I was perfect, but because I had practiced. Practice doesn't need to be big. It just needs to be true. Some people think talking to objects is not useful. But let me tell you, those objects helped me become the person who could speak with the world. They helped me become brave. They helped me love English before sharing it with others. When I finally spoke to people, I wasn't starting from zero. I was starting from strength. Silent strength. Quiet practice. And that made all the difference. Now, I still talk to objects. It's my habit. It's my warm-up. Before a meeting, I speak to my mirror. Before a call, I speak to my notebook. And then, when I speak to real people, my voice is ready. My mind is calm. My heart is strong. So, if you are still speaking only to objects, don't feel small. Don't feel silly. Feel proud. Because that is where fluency begins. You are building your English muscle. You are becoming strong, one quiet sentence at a time. And soon, when you speak to real people, you will feel it. The words will come, the fear will shrink, and the conversation will begin. And when that moment comes, you'll remember your lamp, your chair, your mirror. You'll smile and say, "Thank you for listening to me when no one else did." Because they helped you become who you are, a real speaker, a real learner, a real winner. Chapter 16. Why this works better than just watching videos. I used to watch English videos for hours. I watched grammar lessons. I watched interviews. I watched storybooks being read. I even watched people speaking slowly, just for learners like me. And yes, I learned a little. I understood some new words. I heard different accents. I felt inspired. But when I tried to speak, nothing came out. My brain had information, but my mouth stayed quiet. I thought, why am I still silent? I watch so much. That's when I realized the truth. Watching is not enough. Watching feels like learning, but speaking is what truly makes you fluent. The more I sat and watched, the more passive I became. I was receiving words, but I wasn't using them. It was like eating food, but never moving your body. The energy stayed stuck inside. I needed to move. I needed to speak. That's when I started talking to objects. At first, it felt strange. I was used to watching others talk. But now it was my turn. And something magical happened. The more I spoke, the more my mouth remembered. The more I repeated, the more natural it felt. I wasn't just watching someone else live in English. I was living in English myself. Videos are helpful. They give you ideas. They show you how the language works. But if you don't open your mouth, nothing changes. Your confidence doesn't grow. Your fluency doesn't build. It's like learning how to swim by watching videos of people in the pool. At some point, you have to jump in. And for me, jumping in meant talking to a spoon, a chair, a book, anything I could see and name and speak to. That's when learning became real. When I watched videos, I always thought, that person speaks so well. I wish I could do that. But when I started talking to objects, I stopped wishing. I started doing. I started using my own voice. I stopped copying, and I started creating. My sentences weren't long. They weren't perfect, but they were mine, and they mattered more than any hour I spent just watching. Speaking creates energy. It makes your body move. It trains your brain and your mouth at the same time. It builds memory. It connects emotion with expression. When I told my lamp, "You are shining like the sun," I felt joy. When I said to my mirror, "I am learning," I felt pride. These emotions made the words stick. Watching videos gave me examples, but speaking gave me experience. Many learners feel busy. They say, "I have no time to speak." But they watch 5, 10, 20 videos a day. That's time. And if they use just 10 minutes to speak out loud with real voice, they would see a big change. Because 10 minutes of speaking is more powerful than an hour of watching. Speaking is doing. Speaking is action. Watching is only step one. So now, I use videos in a new way. I don't just watch. I speak with them. I pause the video. I repeat the sentence. I say it again. I change it. I make it my own. I use the new word in a sentence with my cup or my notebook. I turn every video into a speaking practice. Because learning begins with listening, but it ends with speaking. If you are watching English videos and wondering why your speaking is not improving, ask yourself, am I using my voice? If not, start today. Watch less, speak more. Don't wait for a perfect moment. Speak while walking. Speak to your pillow. Speak while brushing your hair. Turn your world into your English classroom. And most of all, speak out loud, not just in your mind. You already know enough to start. You just need to use what you have. You are not here to only be a watcher. You are here to be a speaker, a learner, a doer. And that begins now, with your own voice, your own words, and your own courage. Chapter 17. Talk to your bag, your shoe, your spoon. One morning, I was leaving the house. I looked at my bag and said, "Are you ready to carry all my problems today?" I laughed. Then I looked at my shoes. "Please don't get tired. We have a long day ahead." That night, I came home and saw my spoon. I smiled and said, "Thank you for feeding me again." They were just small sentences, just small moments. But they were real, and they helped me more than I ever imagined. I didn't need a speaking partner. I had everything around me. My bag, my shoe, my spoon. My world became my English practice space, and everything in it became my partner. When I talked to objects, I stopped feeling shy. I didn't worry about grammar. I didn't think about mistakes. I just spoke. I looked at my water bottle and said, "You look empty. Time for a refill." I looked at my chair and said, "Thank you for holding me all day." These sentences were not from a book. They were not part of a test. But they were honest, and they were full of practice. Real fluency does not come from big words. It comes from small sentences, repeated often, spoken with feeling. I started giving objects personalities. My bag was grumpy in the morning and tired at night. My shoes were brave soldiers who protected my feet. My spoon was gentle and patient. These stories made speaking fun. I wasn't studying. I was imagining. I was creating. And most importantly, I was using English every single day. I would say, "Mr. Spoon, you are my hero today." Or, "Miss Shoe, don't make my feet hurt, okay?" I used simple grammar. I repeated patterns. I spoke with emotion. And slowly, English became my habit. People around me didn't always understand. "Why are you talking to your shoe?" they would laugh. But I smiled. Because I knew something they didn't. I was building my fluency in the smartest way. I was practicing without fear. I was improving every single time I opened my mouth. And while they were waiting for a perfect English class, I was creating my own class. In the kitchen, in the bedroom, in the street. Wherever I was, I had a spoon, a bag, or a shoe. I had a chance to speak. Sometimes I sang to my toothbrush. Sometimes I told jokes to my shampoo bottle. Sometimes I argued with my socks. "Why do you always get lost in the washing machine?" These silly moments made my English alive. They made me love the language. And love is what makes fluency grow. Not fear, not stress, not pressure, but love. Love for words, love for speaking, love for learning in a fun, free way. If you're watching this video and thinking, "Can I really talk to objects?" My answer is yes. Not only can you, you should, you must. Because these little conversations are magic. They build your confidence. They make English part of your daily life. And most importantly, they make you feel strong. You are not waiting anymore. You are creating your own practice. You are choosing to speak. So today, talk to your bag. Tell it how heavy it feels. Talk to your shoe. Thank it for walking with you. Talk to your spoon. Share your thoughts. Make it a habit. 5 sentences a day. 10. Say them out loud. Repeat them. Smile while you speak. Laugh if it feels funny. That joy is your teacher. That freedom is your power. You don't need more books. You need more sentences. You don't need more rules. You need more courage. So speak to anything, to everything, to everyone, even if it can't reply. Because English is not just for talking to people. English is for expressing yourself. And every object in your life is waiting to hear your voice. Chapter 18. Turn talking into a daily ritual. Every day, I used to ask myself, how can I speak English better? I looked for new methods, new apps, new ideas. But the answer was already inside my daily life. I didn't need to do something big. I just needed to do something small, every single day. That's when I created a daily ritual. A small speaking routine that I followed like brushing my teeth. Simple, quiet, repeated, and powerful. Speaking English became a part of my morning, my lunch, my evening. Not because I had time, but because I made time. Just 5 minutes a day, and slowly, those minutes changed my entire journey. My ritual started in the morning. I woke up, stretched, and looked at my mirror. "Good morning," I'd say. "How did you sleep?" Then I'd talk to my pillow. "Thank you for being soft." My toothbrush. Let's work hard today. My breakfast. You look tasty. These small sentences woke up my voice. They told my brain, we are speaking English today. And once that voice was on, it didn't turn off. I carried it with me. To the kitchen, to the street, to the shop. My English wasn't part of my study time anymore. It was part of my life. In the afternoon, I kept the habit going. While eating lunch, I talked to my plate. You're full again? After lunch, I'd clean and speak while doing it. Let's wash you clean, little bull. Sometimes I described what I was doing. Now I'm wiping the table. I'm pouring water. These descriptions were simple, but they gave me constant speaking practice. I wasn't just thinking in English. I was speaking it, living it, using it again and again. At night, I had another small ritual. Before going to bed, I stood in front of the mirror and said one positive sentence. You did well today. Or, you spoke more today than yesterday. I gave myself love. I gave myself power. Then I'd say good night to my lamp. Thank you for the light. To my pillow. Please help me rest. To my blanket. You feel warm tonight. This wasn't about perfect grammar. It was about connection. About routine. About using my voice without fear. That's the power of ritual. You don't need to think. You don't need to plan. You just follow the steps. And those steps become your ladder. One small sentence today. One more tomorrow. Soon, you're climbing without even noticing. That's what happened to me. Speaking became natural. Easy. Automatic. Because I didn't wait for a big opportunity. I created a small one, every day, in my own way. Some days I was tired. Some days I didn't want to speak. But I still said one sentence. Just one. That was my promise to myself. Speak one sentence, no matter what. And that sentence always made me feel better. It gave me confidence. It reminded me, you are growing. You don't need a long lesson. You need a small moment, repeated every day. That's what makes a ritual powerful. So I want you to build your own ritual. Start small. Maybe every morning, say 5 sentences out loud. Or choose one object to talk to before lunch. Or end your night by describing your day to your phone. Make it simple. Make it yours. But do it every day. Not once a week. Not only when you feel perfect. But every day, even if it's just for 2 minutes. That's how you build fluency that lasts. Remember, fluency doesn't come from one big moment. It comes from many small ones. Quiet ones. Repeated ones. Spoken with love, not fear. So build your ritual. Make it strong. Make it yours. And let English become not just your language, but your daily life. Chapter 19. You're not crazy. You're smart. When I first started talking to objects, my spoon, my phone, my mirror, I didn't tell anyone. I was afraid they would laugh. I thought they would say, "You're crazy. Who talks to a chair?" But deep in my heart, I knew it wasn't crazy. It was smart. It was brave. It was powerful. Because while others were waiting to find a speaking partner, I had already found one. While others were afraid of mistakes, I was already practicing. While others were silent, I was speaking. Alone, yes, but speaking. And that made all the difference in my journey. People around me didn't understand. They asked, "Why do you whisper to yourself?" I smiled and said nothing. Because I knew something they didn't. I knew that fluency doesn't begin with talking to people. It begins with talking to yourself. With training your tongue. With opening your mouth. With using the English that lives inside you. It doesn't matter if you're talking to a fan or a toothbrush. What matters is that you're talking. You're trying. You're practicing. And that, my friend, is not crazy. It's genius. We live in a world that loves to judge. People laugh when you try something new. They laugh when you do something different. But let them laugh. Let them talk. Because while they are busy laughing, you are busy growing. You are building confidence. You are learning. You are moving forward. They will only see the result one day, when you speak fluently, clearly, proudly. And they will ask, "How did you learn?" You will smile and say, "I talk to my shoe every day. And it worked." You don't need to explain your methods to anyone. You don't need permission to practice. Your English journey is yours. Your voice is yours. And if talking to a chair helps you speak more, then that chair is a blessing. If talking to your teacup makes your tongue move, then that teacup is your teacher. Don't feel ashamed. Don't feel small. You are doing something most people are too afraid to try. You are speaking when no one is watching. You are showing up for yourself. I remember once sitting on my bed, holding my phone, and having a full 5-minute conversation with it. I asked it questions. I gave it answers. I told it stories. I laughed. I even said, "You're a good listener." And you know what? I felt amazing. Because my voice was active. My words were flying. My brain and mouth were working together. And all of it happened without anyone around me. That is the secret to learning fast. Don't wait for the world. Create your own world. So if someone tells you, "That's strange," you tell them, "No, that's smart." Because practice doesn't need an audience. Success doesn't need approval. Your learning is real. Your voice is powerful. Your idea is working. You are not crazy. You are creative. You are building something beautiful, sentence by sentence, day by day. And if you ever feel doubt, if you ever feel shy, remember this. The people who change their lives are the ones who do things differently. Talking to objects may look strange, but fluency comes to those who are not afraid to look strange for a while. Fluency comes to those who speak, even when no one claps. So today, I want you to feel proud. Proud of your practice. Proud of your habit. Proud of your English. You are not just learning. You are living in English. And that makes you smart. That makes you strong. That makes you special. Chapter 20. My secret is no longer a secret. Now it's yours. For a long time, this was my little secret. I didn't tell anyone that I was learning to speak English by talking to a chair, a spoon, or a notebook. I didn't post about it. I didn't ask for advice. I just kept going. Quietly. Every day, I spoke to the things around me. I created my own world, my own practice, my own way. And slowly, something beautiful happened. I started speaking English, not only to objects, but to people. I didn't freeze anymore. I didn't feel afraid. I didn't wait for someone to help me. I helped myself. And now, I want to tell you, this secret is not only mine anymore. It's yours now. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to wait. You don't need special tools. All you need is your voice and a little imagination. Everything around you is ready to help. Your shoes, your bag, your pen, your pillow, your toothbrush. They are all listening. They are all waiting for you to speak. When you talk to them, something inside you changes. You become free. You become bold. You become strong. And one day, you will speak to real people with the same confidence you built with a cup of tea and a lamp. This is not just a story. It's a real method. It's simple, but powerful. Speaking with objects removes fear. It gives you privacy. It gives you control. You don't need to worry about judgment. You can make mistakes. You can laugh. You can repeat your words until they feel smooth. That's what I did. Every day, And that's how I became fluent faster than I ever expected. And now, my friend, it's your turn. This is not just a video. This is a key to a new way of learning, a way that doesn't cost money, a way that doesn't need a teacher, a way that lives in your home, your bag, your spoon, a way that begins today, not someday. You have the power now. You don't need to keep searching. The answer is already with you. So, I give you this gift, my secret. It's no longer hidden. It's yours to use, yours to build with, yours to share. From this moment, I want you to look at everything around you and say, "This is my classroom. This is my partner. This is my fluency." Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for a perfect lesson. Just speak. Speak to anything. Speak to everything. Speak like you mean it. And when people ask you one day, "How did you learn to speak English so well?" Smile and tell them, "I talked to my spoon, my mirror, my bag, and I never stopped." And maybe, just maybe, you'll help someone else. You'll pass this secret to another beginner, just like I'm passing it to you now. This is your journey, your story, your voice. Speak now. The secret is yours. If this video touched your heart, if you learned something new today, please like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and comment below. Which object will you speak to today? Let's help more English learners discover this powerful, simple trick. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because here, we speak English with heart, hope, and honesty. You are not alone. You are not weak. You are growing. Speak now, even to a spoon, because your fluency is waiting on the other side of your voice. Red Heart.